Hello to the future. How are you doing today? Drop a comment and let me know. Because one day you all are going to watch this to understand what the hell was going on. So let me get in my little corner here. In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. Bonus points if you know what that's from. I don't know how you don't know. If you don't, we're losing recipes. So I have my sandwich that I'm eating today. I have a peanut butter sandwich because I have special bread. So this bread, I said special like you can't buy it. You can definitely buy it. But this is a wheat bread and it has blueberries and cranberries and oats. I don't think you can see it. It's too bright in here. But when I use this kind of bread, I don't put jelly on. I only put peanut butter. So I have that. And then I also have my tea. Today's tea is calendula, which is marigold, flor de jamaica, which is hibiscus, canela, which is cinnamon, and azúcar, which is sugar, and aceite de coco, which is coconut oil. So that's the tea for today. I realized that I have not really been doing a good job with my tea regimen, but I bought a new teapot because I went to the mall the other day and I bought a new teapot. I bought some new house shoes, some new slippers for the house. I bought another diffuser because my diffuser sometimes just doesn't like to work. It's also really old. So I've been gone for 4 years. Remember, we celebrated that last week. And my diffuser is that old. And so it be struggling. So I bought another diffuser so that I can make sure that I'm always able to have my essential oils. I bought measuring spoons because I want to start baking. And there's something else that I bought. It's like random stuff. It's like random stuff. So, anyway, there's more that I want to share, but let me get started because some of this is just chit chat and some of it I want to go ahead and put out. Hey, y'all, I'm Kimberland, and this is the Frolicking Truth, a soft space for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal. Here, joy meets justice. We calm our Black ass nervous systems, we unmask, and we leave behind whatever that is trying to kill us. You're seen here, you're safe here, and you don't have to do this alone. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to the mukbang. So listen, there were things that I wanted to say, and then I was talking to the inner circle, which that's something that we have to talk about today. But I said, let me just go ahead on and start because there are things that I want to say. So, but also I'm hungry, so I need to eat. So if anything, consider this your behind the scenes access. Okay. Now, what was I about to say before I started this? I don't remember. It's gone. It's gone. What was I gonna say? I don't know. But anyway, hey y'all. Welcome to episode 24 of the Frolicking Truth podcast for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. Come on in, take a seat, find a comfortable spot, get cozy. I did that from memory, by the way, and it was out of order. And I realized it, and that's why I always have my lines. But nonetheless, you get it. You get the gist. So, one thing I do want to say is that if you don't identify with any of those descriptors, as far as being a Black woman who is tired, brilliant, and ready to heal, that's all right. You can still stay and hang around. I just ask that you come in a spirit of wanting to listen and learn and support. This is not the space for foolishness. I will block you. I have zero problems with it. Okay? So, this is a space for people who love to learn, love to hear different perspectives. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I remember. First off, let's give a shout out to Christian. Christian is my memory brain person. And he does a really good job of finding the things and getting me back on track. But also, the office doesn't really open until like 1. So I wasn't like trying to put too much pressure on him for him to go and find it. But my boy be on it. So shout out to Christian. So what I was talking about was I had went to the mall the other day. The main thing that I needed to do while I was at the mall was get an eye exam. Did that in Espanol. I'm going. It was so funny because a couple episodes back, I had told y'all that I cannot see. I held up my computer so y'all could see how much I can't see. So I'm sitting in his office, and this lady gonna sit up there and say, "Take off your glasses and tell me what's on the screen." Girl, you know I can't see that, girl. You know I can't see that. Why are you doing that? Then she was like, then she was like, hold up this card that had different paragraphs written on it in different sizes. And she gonna say, look at the one that's on the bottom. I said, what you want me to do with it? She was like, I said, you want me to read it? So she's like, no, hold it up to your face until you're able to read it. The damn card was like right here, damn it. It was like right here. Ah, I cannot see. So anyway, the good news is that I'm gonna try not to say because every time I damn it say it, I gotta cut it out. Come on, girl, get it together. So I just really got the giggles because I was not giving her a hard time. Let's be clear. I was very much cooperating, but I was also in my head like, nah, girl, you see how high this prescription is, girl. Anyway, for context, my prescription before I went in there. So these glasses are from 4 years ago. So that's about time, to get some new glasses. I believe you're supposed to update your glasses maybe every 2 years, maybe. So all of the glasses that I've had with me, these, my yellow glasses, the clear glasses, I have a pair of black glasses, are all that prescription from 2021. So even in all this time, my prescription only increased by 0.25 more. But baby, that 0.25 make a difference. You hear me? because y'all been hearing me talk about my eyeballs and the things that have been happening, and you steady see me pushing the glasses up on my face the whole time. Ooh, child. So the good news is that my eyes did not degenerate a lot over the past 4 years. It's normal wear and tear, if you will. That's the good news. The good news is also that I do not need bifocals. Somebody put into the comments. Let me go find the comment. Who was the comment? I think that was Erica. You see down here, ERF5332. You had bifocals? You had bifocals? That's one of my friends from college. She stayed clowning, bro. She stayed clowning, dog, all the time. Anyway, no, I don't have bifocals. And the doctor said, I don't need them yet. I do anticipate at some point, though, they gonna come into play. Because sis cannot see. Okay. But I went to the eye doctor, and that was cool. I didn't know the words. Damn, I done forgot the word already. Because I asked her what the word was for blurry. Borroso. Borroso. So, because I was trying to tell her, like, for instance, one of the times she told me to take my glasses off and look at the screen, it was a K on the screen. She had blew it up to like 7,000. So then I was like, I can see that there looks like there's a K, pero este borroso. It is blurry. Yo necesito claro. So I need it. How would I say? Yo lo necesito claro. I need it clear. So she was getting it together though. She was like, hold this. So, all right, what's this? All right, let's do this and that. And it was a whole production. So we'll see. I'm gonna have me some new eyesight soon. I think I'm just gonna order the glasses from Zenni Optical though, because I actually have a code with them. So I'll find it and put it into the description. But they don't never have cute lenses. I mean cute frames in the in the um in the eye doctor. They don't ever have cute frames in there. So they were not cute. So I'm going to do that most likely. But yeah, I'll be able to see soon. So that was a good adventure. So while I was at the mall, I did that. I did the eye exam. And then I also had some things on my list that I needed to check off. And one of those things was get me some new house shoes. And like I said, the measuring spoons. And oh, I bought a jump rope. I bought a jump rope because I want to really start working on endurance because I be winded, baby, going up these mountains. So I have to start doing that more frequently as far as like the hiking part of it, kind of. Because to take the trash out, I got to go down the mountain. Then I got to come back up the mountain. And the coming back up the mountain, it's a steep mountain. Okay. So, but it's a really good workout. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. It maybe takes like 15 minutes total. But my God, today, I be tired. Okay. So I want to start working on my endurance and stuff. And I feel like a jump rope is something that's portable enough that I can use it and I don't have to like make space for it in my suitcase. It can fit. So I bought that and I don't know, maybe a couple other things. But I had a really specific list of things that I needed to do at the mall. So I did that the other day. And I felt like an adult.
A few moments later.
What I was about to say before I started eating my sandwich is that one of my friends from college had come into town and he reached out and he was like, hey, I'm going to be there. It would be great to see you. So I'm like, okay, so I carve out some time to go into the thick of it. So it's not downtown, but it's like the tourist area. The area is called Poblado, El Poblado. And it's where like all the tourists are. It's like the main event. If you think about, for instance, I'm from New Orleans, it's like Bourbon Street, where like that's where everybody goes and all the craziness and debauchery and the things happen down there. So, but he wanted to go to this particular restaurant that he had heard really good reviews about. So I was like, sure, I'll go to the restaurant. I know exactly where that is. So we get down there, and there is a park that is across the street. And during the daytime, the park is a park. Just a seating area. One thing I will say for Colombia is that their parks don't have anything on Mexico City parks. Mexico City's parks are so gorgeous. They are so gorgeous and just well put together. And I think here, specifically in Medellin, so let me not speak for all of the whole country, but here in Medellin, the city is so green. So I don't think they put as much time, attention, effort into curating the park. It's just kind of like, here's a park. So having said that, the parks are not really anything to write home about. It's just kind of like a park with some benches or whatever. And I love to people watch, so I usually do find my way to a park so that I can kind of have a seat and just watch people and make up stories in my mind about what's going on or ask myself questions or whatever. So I'm sitting in the park before he gets there and just kind of appreciating the sunlight and all of that. There are always a bunch of taxi drivers and they're always, trying to talk and all that. And I'm just, footloose and fancy free. So we go to the restaurant, and I haven't seen him in probably since we graduated, and I graduated in 2003, so in 22 years. And we're friends on Facebook, but haven't seen each other like at all in that time. So, um, had like just an amazing like early dinner, late lunch situation, a dinner, if you will. The restaurant was really nice. They had a really, really good drink, a juice. It was like they had a really extensive menu. So it was maybe, which granted, the majority of it was drinks. They're in the middle of Poblado. So it's Calle Diaz is the area that I was in. So you're in the middle of people wanting to have drinks for sure. So their drink menu was really extensive, but they also had vegan options and vegetarian options. It was a pretty good place, and I didn't feel like it was very expensive at all. Yeah, their menu is 39 pages. Oh, they had kombucha. Oh my God, I totally would have got some kombucha if I knew that they had that. Wow. Okay, so anyway, the juice was passion fruit, pineapple, and cardamom. Passion fruit, pineapple, and cardamom. And it was so good. When I tell you, I was like, oh, this is good. I need to make some of this. It was so good. So anyway, I had a really good time. And then after we had dinner, we went back across the street to the park, and we're kind of just talking for a while about mental health and men's mental health and how to create support networks for people who are watching the world crash in front of them, basically, is what our conversation was about. But it was so needed. It was such a good time. I was blowing bubbles in the park because why not? Like, I was just like,
Blow some bubbles in the park. The blackest shit here. Blow them damn bubbles, black people.
And you see, I have them in my pocket.
Yeah.
I always have them with me. I do.
Blow your damn bubbles. When I tell you, when you can, black joy is when you are blowing some damn bubbles. Being black, intentional about it.
Get you some.
Get you some.
Look, it was $1 and about 75 cents. But it's a little piece of joy.
Go on and get you some.
thank you for this. Because I told him, I'm like, I really don't be feeling like people be checking for me. Well, first, what I said was, I don't feel like people be worrying about me. And he was like, I never worry. I never worry. And I was like, okay, that's fair. And then I said, but yeah, I don't be feeling like people be checking for me. And he was like, no, I follow and I think about you often. So know that. So that was nice. And I felt like it was definitely like a God pull up. Like I was like, go check on her right quick and let her know that it's people out here that care. So I appreciated that and I received that. So shout out to Dantes. And thank you for coming and seeing about me and pulling up on me and spending some time with your girl. It was very much refreshing. So I was out in them streets, y'all. I was out in them streets. I bought some sunflowers while I was out there. So that was nice. So I have sunflowers sitting over on the table. And yeah, so that was me frolicking. I am the professional frolicker and I haven't really frolicked in a while. I do feel that frolicking season is coming back in full effect. So I'm excited about that. There are seasons where there's a lot going on and there are seasons where there's not. And one of the things I told you all is that I want to be really intentional about giving myself some time off. So I have been feverishly working on that and preparing for that. And that's going to give me time to enjoy the Christmas season here in Medellin is so beautiful. They really have lights and light displays and Christmas tree lightings. And I love Christmas lights. They make me so happy. So I'm excited that I'll have a chance to be able to enjoy another Christmas here and just kind of be out and appreciating the parks. One of the parks that I love, they do a huge Christmas display and there's like a light display over the river. It's really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to all of that. So I've been feverishly working on that with my brand bestie. The other day we had a work session and it was so dope because I had all these things on the list and I had gotten to some of them, but not all of them. So she was like, okay, well, let's do it now. What can I help with? All right, so I'll do this, you do that. Checking in, like, it just felt like a productive co-working supportive environment and I need that. Like I am the type of person that I got the ADHD child and I'll be down a rabbit hole girl in a minute. So knowing that okay, for this chunk of time you are focusing on this and somebody's about to ask you how far you got because the goal is to check everything off the list, phenomenal. It is very project manager ish, and I be sometimes be needing to get that. So so it felt really good to get the things checked off my list that are setting me up to be able to take this time off. So this week I have a new set of things that I'm working on and one of the things is the episodes. Well, the main thing is the episodes that are going to be airing because I'm still going to schedule new episodes during this time. So y'all don't have to worry. Okay, y'all gonna still get things, right? So I'm gonna schedule episodes to be released except for the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas. I think those 2 weeks. But I might wind up having because it's a lot. It's a lot of things to talk about and it's a lot of stories to tell. So we'll see. But right now, with the exception of those 2 weeks, then there is going to be content that's coming out every week. So you all will continue to get a little inspiration or whatever. So yeah, so I'm planning that out and getting everything structured for that. And it just feels really good because there's a lot that goes into my brain. And this is really helping me to get stuff out of my brain because there's so much that be going on in my brain. Oh my God, it's so much. So it feels really, really good to be organizing things and getting stuff off my plate. And it's not stuff that I have to come back to. Like it's done, like that is done. We're done with that now and that can operate. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I continue. The reason I talk about the brand bestie all the time is because I believe in acknowledging what people do and honoring what they do to support and helping you get connected to them, because I know that there are others who are out there like me where this kind of stuff be whooping my ass. Okay. So if you're like me and you got all these visions and all these projects and all these things, I'm telling you, she is phenomenal. So, also, she was on So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese this past week with Kalanda and I, and that was a good time. We really had a good episode. Then we have our guest host who is here hanging out with us. So, please let the people know who you are, sis.
Hey y'all, I am Shekinah Taylor Weeze of House Holiday, first of her name, manifested presence of God, the creator and curator, soul healer, heart revealer, warrior,
Hey,
lover, friend.
I know that's right.
Yes. Okay.
I know that's right. You
Listen.
better tell somebody.
Listen.
Yeah, that's me. Hey y'all, thanks for having me. This is my first time guest hosting anywhere. I just be talking on my stuff.
So please do check that out. I'm also going to have it be one of your options after this video, but it was a really good time. So you can get to know a little bit more about Shekinah, the brand bestie, through those avenues. And you can go to tinyurl.com/, the brand bestie, to schedule some time with her. She does free consultations, and that's amazing. So wanted to put that out there. Also, let me give a quick Raina update. So I didn't tell y'all this the last time. It's been a couple times now that I had supposed to mention it, but Raina got washed yesterday. And one, I changed the side that my part is on, because I felt like, you remember I keep talking about this little area of my hair up here, so I'm trying to like expose different parts of my hair so I can just see what's happening and what's working best. So that's the first thing, is I'm getting used to the new part side, or the new side part. So, but the other thing is, well, first of all, yesterday I washed my hair. I had to wash it in cold water, child, because the gas ran out for the shower. So, girl, I was in there freezing. But it was interesting to wash my hair in cold water. It definitely felt different. So that was a different experience. But this is the main thing that I did, is I used olive oil to moisturize Raina. And I'm really liking it. Now, just regular olive oil, regular I have extra virgin. This is just that what I had in the kitchen. And then I was like, I'm gonna now use this for my hair. So now it's my hair olive oil. Which, granted, there are a lot of beauty products that have olive oil as the base. And when I get to making my hair creams and stuff, I am going to, I'm sure, include olive oil in it. But I really like the way that my hair feels moisturized. So I washed my hair yesterday afternoon. So I took a shower last night. I did not take a shower this morning. So this is Raina without the steam treatment in the morning. And I'm kind of feeling it still. It feels moisturized. She feels not so drawn up, if you will. So I'm liking that. Now, this area again up here, I feel like I may have to do some additional moisture, because it feels like it's a lot drier than, for instance, the back of my hair. So I'm gonna be kind of paying special attention to this part to try to see what I need to do up here, because that's consistently a thing. I don't want to. I had a suggestion the other day to like just do a twist out and then just untwist it. I don't really want to have to do that. But right now, I'm just trying to see what happens and how the curls are naturally coming. Do they naturally come, or like what is happening there? Because maybe there's some sort of damage or something. I don't know. I don't know. Or it's just a different texture. So that's where me and Raina is at. But sis is cute now. Sis is cute, and sis has movement, which I love, because that wasn't really the case before. So I'm really liking, like I said, the moisturization, which allows her to also kind of be footloose and fancy free, if you will. So That's been a really, really good time with Raina. So we need to do our subscriber update, y'all. Yo, when I tell you, I am so excited about the fact that people are finding me, finding us, finding Minding My Black Ass Business. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'll do it after this because there is something that I need to also tell you all. I'm so glad that you all are here, is what I'm saying. I have been preparing for you and thinking about what this looks like and sounds like and how to create a space where we're able to learn together and grow together and all of that. So, first, I want to give a subscriber update. Last week, we were at 1,468 subscribers. This week, we are at 1,484 subscribers. Yes, welcome to our new subscribers. So excited to have you here. Please leave a comment. Let me know, let us know what brought you here, what made you click that button and say, let me check out what they're talking about over there, the Mind of My Black Ass Business. Please do share, introduce yourself, let us know where you are joining the community from, all of the things, okay? I also, let me do these quick updates and then I'm going to go back because there is something important that I need to do. So, we just had the Healing Circle this past week. It was a really, really good time. We had a brand new group of women that came, and during the Healing Circle, we do breath work, we do a yoga flow, we also do affirmations and a debrief, and really just take some time to connect with each other as sisters. And it was so beautiful. So, you all know I partner with the Well Educator, Vanessa, and we have created this space to hold for us, for Black women. So, Saturday, November 8th is the next time that we will have the Healing Circle, and it will take place at 12:30 p.m. Colombian Standard Time, which is also Eastern Standard Time. So, it's a 90-minute session. It's a really good time. You register by going to tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle. tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle. So, I want to remind us of our soul work. Our soul work is what we are consistently thinking about when we come together, the work that we are doing within our spirits to be able to show up for ourselves. So, this week's soul work, and has been consistent over the past few weeks, the past several, honestly, at this point. What are the characteristics that you need to feel safe in a community? And that can be a partnership, that can be a sisterhood, that can be a relationship, that can be a business ship. What do you need to see and feel in order to feel safe in community? That is our soul work. All right. Okay, now I can't believe I almost forgot this. So I wanted to say, when I was talking about the subscribers, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to tell y'all what I have been doing behind the scenes when I was working with the brand besties. So, I have been organizing the Patreon. So, I want to give us a quick tour through the Patreon so that you are able to see the different areas that exist in here. So, when you come to the Patreon, you can see that there are already 25 people in here. There are 330 posts that live in here, and those are increasing every day. But the first thing that I wanted to share with you all is that I changed the name. I changed the name of the Patreon to the Archive because I am so aware that every day they are trying to erase history. And I think it is incredibly important for us to have a space where we are keeping those memories. So the Patreon is now called The Archive, and we have the emoji of the fist, power to the people, okay? And this is our spot to gather, remember, and build what comes next. Every person here is a keeper. So when you come into the Patreon, Patreon, you decide what is going to be important to you. Are you a keeper of music, of pop culture, of people's stories? Like, what is it that you want to bring into the space and contribute to the community? So in here we have our latest posts, and then we also have the collections. And this is what I have been working on, is getting all of these collections together. So there is the Sunflower Path. There's Discover Your Destiny as a collection, so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese. The Frolicking Truth is a collection. Gathered is a collection. So there's also a collection called The Change Corridor. So there are all these collections in here where you are able to go in, and we're going to have content in there. You all are also able to chat about it. So there are chats for each of those. There are recent posts that are in here. So basically, we've been working on creating a space that allows us to be able to connect and to have pathways that we can go down to understand what is happening, as well as how we can support ourselves in that. So the Patreon is $5 a month. You can access everything for $5 a month. If you are somebody who is saying, I would love to do more than $5 a month, I have the ability, I am deeply appreciative, and you are able to do that. But the base level of $5 a month gets you access to everything. So the Sunflower Path is where we are going to have our healing journey and talking about the different things that we need to do in order to heal our spirits, where the different recipes that we may be using. So that's what's going to live there. And then in the Change Corridor, for instance, that is the place of activism. So where we talk about what it looks like for us to show up in resistance and in revolution. When we look at Discover Your Destiny, for instance, that's where people are able to go to learn more about this pathway of understanding who you are and how God designed you to be. In the podcast collections, you can go and listen to the different episodes and get the behind the scenes episodes that live there. So we are building the archive. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So that is what I've been working on, is getting that space prepared so that we are able to come in and be in community and talk with each other and learn from each other, and just really have a space to be able to connect. Because I will say out loud, I don't know how long spaces like this here on YouTube are going to exist, free from censorship. So we want to make sure that we're also connected to the spaces that may be existing a little bit offline, if you will. All right. So that was a super big, huge announcement that I wanted to share and go through. I'm so glad I remembered, because I've been telling y'all that I was going to talk about Patreon for a few weeks now, and I just hadn't had the chance. What if the thing you've always called too much was the exact thing God designed on purpose? This is for the ones who've always known they were different. Too sensitive, too loud, too knowing, too intuitive, too woo-woo. But what if your sensitivity is actually your superpower? What if your intuition was your inheritance? Discover Your Destiny is a 10-week sacred journey back to yourself. We explore the design of your soul, your spiritual gifts, and the unique way that God speaks to you. This isn't church. It's not a rule book. It's not a performance. It's the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking in divine alignment. You'll gain clarity, language, and confidence around who you are and what you are here on the earth to do. You'll learn the real voice of God. And if you feel called to go on to become a certified intuitive melanated life coach, this is where that path begins. There are 2 ways to enter this sacred container: the Destiny track, full investments and coaching experience, or the Divine Exchange track, where internship meets soul work. You'll support podcasting, content creation, or brand development behind the scenes while learning how your unique gifts benefit the collective. Your knowing isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprint of God. This is your invitation, and I hope that you'll answer. Let's get into the things, y'all. So I was frolicking in the feed this week, and honestly, it wasn't even me frolicking in the feed. It was that there was a memory that popped up, and I shared a picture of myself from 2007. So I want to show you all this picture of me. So this is from 2007. The caption says, sometimes the way out doesn't look like escape, it looks like surrender to the pain, to the truth, to the version of you that still believes in light. The first picture, I didn't know yet how lost I was. I was 1 year into a relationship that would quietly break my spirit. 13 years of trying to fix what wasn't mine to carry. 13 years of shrinking, explaining, and waiting for peace that never came. But this is the other side. The woman in the second photo is free. She feels hopeful, inspired, thankful, creative, accepted, respected, valued, joyful, and aligned. She's in awe of what happens when you finally choose yourself. And now the universe keeps whispering, I'm sending you more reasons to feel joyful. To anyone standing in the dark, wondering if there is a way out, there is. It's not easy, it's not pretty, but joy at a soul level really does live on the other side. And the song that I have tagged in this is Able by PJ Morton and Daryl Walls. If you all know anything about me, you know that PJ Morton is my absolute favorite music artist ever. And he's just so much more than a music artist. He's a producer, he's a composer, he is a musical genius, and can't nobody tell me nothing different. Okay. So if you have not gotten into PJ Morton, get into it. But that picture is from 2007. And I do want to give a trigger warning here and say that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I am about to talk about some instances of domestic violence, of emotional manipulation, and things of the sort. So I am going to ask you to take care of yourself and your spirit the ways that you need to. I appreciate if you are not able to take this in right now. That is okay. I will include resources in the description for you if you need those resources. So, if you are choosing to stay in witness, I appreciate you doing that and holding space for that. Still, though, take care of yourself as you need to. So, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we just had World Mental Health Day. So, for context, today is October 15th, and World Mental Health Day was on October 10th. So, it just happened last week. And both of those things put me in a place where I am trying to ensure that I intentionally highlight both of those areas when it comes to mental health as well as domestic violence awareness. So, one of the questions that I get asked pretty frequently when I talk to people is, how did I become this person? How did you? You are so interesting. Like, how did you become this person? And there are key moments along the way that have shaped me into the person I am. Some of those stories I'm going to tell during the time when I'm on my break. But one of those stories I wanted to share today because I am a survivor of domestic violence. And it is a really big turning point in my life that has really shaped me into the person that I am today. So, back in 2007, well, actually, back in 2006, well, actually, if we start before that, I'm not going to get into this, but I ended an engagement in 2005. So I was engaged to my high school sweetheart, and we can have story time about that if y'all want to hear about that. I was engaged to my high school sweetheart. We did not get married. Hurricane Katrina happened. I'm not speaking to my family, and I am living in Tampa with myself. And 2006 comes along. This is around the inventions of spaces like Facebook, but this was pre-Facebook. This was in MySpace days, okay? So I know if y'all was born in the 2000s, you probably don't know what MySpace is, okay? Just relax. Go look it up. So this was at MySpace days, and I meet this man on MySpace, and very handsome, in my opinion. Looked like he was a Kappa and college educated. He sung, and I was like, oh wow, this man is, really good looking man, right? So we wind up connecting on MySpace, and I had a red flag right at the beginning that I really didn't pay attention to. And what I will say before I go forward is a lot of times people ask me, like, why you, or say to people, survivors that share their stories, like, why are you talking about this now? One, because I can. But two, because there's something that brought it up. And now is the time to talk about it. And if you are somebody who asks people that, I'm curious about how you treat other people, because policing when and how somebody shares their lived experiences with you is not that's not a healthy practice. And even though I am somebody who tries to do my best by people, I'm certain there are people that have negative experiences that they would like to share about me. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Now, if the record need to be corrected, it shall be. And also, you are free to share your perspective and interpretation about how you receive someone's actions. Okay, so wanted to get that out the way. So it's 2006. I meet this man, and he was a teacher. I remember us having, now this is my first year of teaching as well, but by this time we met in October. So by December of my first year teaching, I had already taken over as team lead for my team. So I'm doing a phenomenal job. I remember him being a horrible teacher. And I remember just always being like, you don't have anybody checking on you, like nothing. Like it was he just wasn't good at his job. But nonetheless, I didn't know that when I first met him. So he's a teacher. And the first red flag that I had that I did not pay attention to is when we met up, he was like, first of all, he was late. That was first thing. But things happen, right? So I give grace. Okay. That was a half of a red flag. The first thing that he said to me was, don't, you're cute or something. And he was like, don't worry, I like big girls. Now, at the time, I was approximately 170 pounds. And right now, today, I do not know how much I weigh. I know I weigh a little bit less than that. But nonetheless, this was 3 years after I had graduated from college. And when I was in college, I was a dancer. So I danced on we didn't have a football team. We had basketball, but we danced at the basketball halftime. Like, so I was on the dance team. So I was, pretty much in shape when I was in college. And then when you get out of college, life just changed drastically. I had just finished working, being a manager at Walgreens. So my schedule was all over the place. When do I eat? When do I don't? Like, it was a lot that was going on. So I said all that to say my self-esteem was not the highest, but I do remember being like, big girls, like what the hell who is he talking to? Me? But also I am much bigger than I used to be. So that was the first thing that he said to me, and I didn't stop that there. I felt more that I had been chosen, or that like it was okay, even though I was big and bigger, he was still gonna like me, or like it was just it I don't know how I received that, but it didn't stop me. It wasn't until years later that I reflected on that, and I was like, I should have walked away right then. Like right then, been like, and goodbye, but I didn't. So that was the first thing. Then there was in December, so again, we met in October. So in December of 2005, we, at the time in Florida, using your educator certification, we would get free tickets to Universal Studios. So because we were both teachers, we went to Orlando and went to Universal Studios and had this really, really fun time. And I remember asking him, on that trip, like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Right now, granted, by this time we had already had sex. And so it's not that I was expecting a relationship, but also what is we doing? You know, so he was like, "Oh, we having fun and da da." Okay, so we're not doing a relationship now. We good da 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 da. Right? So okay, so then I had some friends come in town. So I'm a Delta, and I had some friends that were Qs, that Omega Sci-Fi, and they were coming in town, passing through on their way from Alabama to Miami to go to the Bahamas. So one of my friends reaches out and he was like, "Hey, we swinging through. Would you mind if we crashed at your apartment? As we're coming through, it would just be overnight." So I'm like, "Cool, no worries." So I'm like, I only have one bedroom, but y'all could sleep on the sofa or in the living room or whatever. Like he was like, "Yeah, yeah, we just want to crash, real quick. We on our way, down to Miami." So I'm like, "Okay, bet." So they come over, and I don't remember if we did dinner or whatever. I'm not really sure. But in the middle of the night, so my ex is calling me. Right now, we just had this conversation maybe the day before about not being in a relationship. Right. So he's calling me that night, and I'm not answering because I'm busy. Right. We're not in a relationship. So what are you calling me for? Long story short, why this man was outside my house for hours, throwing rocks at the window, knocking on the door. Now, mind you, I have three very large men of Omega Sci-Fi that are in my house, and they are literally just waiting for me to say, "Go ahead and open the door and take care of that." But I'm trying not to cause conflict, so I'm just like, I don't know why he's at the door, and I'm not answering. Like, I don't understand what's happening. We just had this conversation about not being in a relationship. Why are you outside my door? What is happening? So they, was like, "All right, cool," but if Buddy come knock on this door again, like, it's gonna be a problem. So I want to say at some point one of them said something through the door. So then he was really like losing his shit. Long story short, the man slept outside my house, and when my friends left the next morning, they pull off, and here he comes storming across the parking lot. Like, why are you with these men? What's happening? I was calling you, and I'm falling in love with you, and like all of this, and I just don't know what's happening. And it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And that still did not cue me in that this is dysfunctional. And one of the reasons that I wasn't really registering how dysfunctional it is because I grew up in a family and household where my dad's belongings could be outside the house any day that I was coming home from school. Like, so I was used to the chaos, and I was used to these quote unquote displays of love that are actually displays of control and manipulation. And I didn't know that that is what was happening. And I wish that I would have had the understanding of what was happening, because every day that I interact with men. So on this side of life right now today, I date sometimes and sometimes don't. And a lot of the dating that I do becomes more of a social experiment than anything, because I am curious about the communications and programmings that men are getting. Now, let me pause here and say that these types of behaviors are not only present in men. These behaviors, however, are very much tied to patriarchal thought that can manifest itself in women, right? So again, I grew up in a household where my mother was the abuser. So, but the abuse was steeped in the idea of patriarchy, and it was a lot. There's too much to unpack. But anyway, so I do want to say though that I am speaking about my experience as a heterosexual woman who is attracted to men, but that does not mean that only men exhibit these types of behaviors. It can also be present in those who identify as women, those who are non-binary. Okay, this is not a gendered thing as far as the behaviors are considered. But I've become increasingly concerned because I know how naive I was in my 20s. And I am grateful, even in having been stuck in this relationship for 13 years, that one, I made it out with my life, and also that it wasn't worse, because it definitely could have been. Because come to find out, that man had been stalking me the entire relationship and I didn't know. And I really didn't find out until the very end. Like, things had started to escalate in 2018, 2019. And the last time that I had any experience with him or dealing with him was like February 28th or something like that of 2019. So this went on for a really long time, because I just told you I met him in 2006. So I know what I experienced, and the more men that I encounter, whether that be through dating apps or just out here in the real world, I am so hyper aware of how much toxic masculinity exists and how much people are at risk because of the ways that men are conditioned to believe that they have authority and dominion over women. And I feel like it is my responsibility to talk about these things so that we can talk about and develop our list of what we need to feel safe with someone, because that's important to know. One of the reasons that I do the soul work that I do, and one of the reasons why I'm the type of life coach that I am, is because the key to me finding freedom was the journey of discover your destiny. Like, that is literally how I found my way to freedom. I was at a church, and the pastor said, because we were engaged by this time, so the pastor was like, y'all should do individual counseling. I was like, I probably need to talk to somebody. I've been needing to talk to somebody my whole life. I had no idea how deep it ran. But I got to a therapist, and she challenged me to take a spiritual gifts test. And that's when I got really, really curious about who I am and like who God created me to be versus who people were telling me that I was. That was my road to freedom. That's how I started to understand what I had been experiencing and why I had been experiencing those things. And I feel like it is my responsibility to warn and support others as they may also be in those situations. So I want to tell y'all a quick situation that happened just last night. So I was talking to this man who is a chef and a psychologist, which is a very interesting combination to me. And we were having a conversation, deep conversations about all sorts of different things, and from your favorite color all the way to racism, like just this whole conversation. And he had made some type of joke that I didn't get, and I still don't get. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't translate well in Spanish. Like, things literally get lost in translation. But he had said something about, how are you handling the cold or something? And I was like, well, thankfully I have a heater, so I'm very cozy. And he was like, oh, that you're conceited. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening. And he's like, no, that was a joke and something, and maybe I was supposed to say something. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get the joke. But the fact of the matter is, why are you calling me conceited? I am so confused. So I was like, maybe this is getting lost in translation, but noted. So then again, we're having all this conversation and everything, and then he says, matter of fact, I'm a play what he said for y'all. Now, mind you, this is the first time that we're having a conversation, and this is what it said. Okay. We would look cute trying to say nice things to each other and express love. So I said, it sounds like your brain is trying to take a field trip to this hypothetical future. So he says, well, if you don't have an idea of what you can project onto the other, it won't happen or be achieved. I also think that being in tune with the idea of what we want is important for it to happen. And I said, I understand being intentional with your energy. So then he says,
I tell you for the first time, you're beautiful for being my girlfriend.
I'll tell you for the first time, you're beautiful for being my girlfriend. So I said, you are practicing for this future that you are writing in your brain. So he says,
Maybe. What do you think about my attitude?
so he said, maybe, what do you think about my attitude? So I said, I think that you are allowed to direct your attention in the direction of what you want. If you are wondering if I am moved by your words, no, I'm not. I do not place a lot of value on words alone. I also know that because I am so different than anyone you have met before, that it's easy to become hypnotized. So I am noting what you are saying, but it takes a lot more to be able to think about a relationship for me. So then he says, you think you are very different in what way? I said, I am positive that I am different. So I said, you will find out the ways the more we get to know each other. So he says, as for you having a different culture and not speaking the same language, I think you're cute, but so far, I don't really see you as anything strange or novel either. So I said, okay, I'm not here to prove that to you. But this is what happened is once I was like, I'm not moved by what you are saying, then now he feels the need to try to humble me. Oh, well, you ain't all that special anyway. It's the equivalent of I ain't want your bitch ass anyway, or like something, that a dude would say. Very much giving fragile masculinity, right? But these are the types of things. If we did not, one of the reasons why I have really intentional conversations with people is because I want to suss that out. I want to see what happens when there's a misunderstanding. I want to see what happens when you think that you're being flirtatious and then I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, and then so remember he's a psychologist as well. So he basically was like, well, that's, of course you have to get to know somebody and all that. I was just flirting. And I was like, I don't take that as flirting. It sounds to me as if you are over there creating an entire fantasy world and you just met me. So that's what you said. Those are the words that you chose to share with me. Because now I've already asked them, how do you feel about words? Right. So those are the words that you chose to share with me. And now you feeling some type of way because I took your words literally. So then I said, also, you should remember I told you that I'm autistic. So then he was like, you're autistic. And I said, yes, I am. And then I said, I also have ADHD. So then he says, well, maybe you have Asperger's, but you're not autistic. How the fuck you gonna tell me who the hell I am and what the hell I have going on? And you just met me. So he tells me that so I asked him, I said, have you done studies on autism? Because I'm curious what that word means to you. So he says, no, I'm clear on what autism means. Are you saying to me that you are autistic? So I said, yes, that is correct. I also have ADHD. And I said, I asked you about your research because you mentioned Asperger's and that is outdated. So I was asking for clarity to understand. So he says, he calls me egocentric. He said your speech seems egocentric to me. And I said, I'm sorry to hear that. You're entitled to your opinion. And then he feels the need to correct me. ADHD is not autism. nor is it related. It is the acronym for attention deficit disorder. I said, I'm aware. I was adding additional context. That's why I said I also have ADHD. I didn't equate them, just added context. That's all. Literally responded to your question where you asked if I am saying I have autism. I said yes, and I also have ADHD. So he says, well, I told you then that you have Asperger's, not autism. The fundamental basis of autism pathologically is the difficulty in communication. I said, okay. So he says, and who diagnosed that? I said, why do you ask? He said, I suffer from curiosity like you. I said, a psychologist diagnosed me. So he says, okay. I say, you have more curiosities? So he says, I have plenty, but I have to sleep tomorrow so I can cook for a TV show that I was invited to. I said, congratulations. Have a peaceful rest. So he says, nice to talk to you today. I say, igualmente. That means same to you, likewise. He says, I hope we can talk again. After all of that, why would I want to talk to this person again when this person is showing me who they are? Right? And the only reason that I kept this going is for social experiment because it literally, I had said to him, like, your energy shifted. So you didn't like that I said that you are hypnotized? And he was like, well, not because I'm not. And I'm very much okay. But yet you sending me voice messages talking about you envisioning me as your girlfriend. That very much sounds hypnotized to me. So what I'm hearing you say is that you chose words that did not accurately represent what you wanted to say. And now you're trying to hold me responsible for your misuse of your words. So I bring all this up because this is a subtle sign of someone who on the surface should very much have emotional intelligence, should very much have the ability to be able to hold themselves accountable, right? But just because somebody has chosen a particular profession does not mean that they are practicing those things within their actual life, right? So this might be something that if you're used to a home where someone is competitive, like there are red flags there and subtle red flags that we can look for. So like competition instead of connection. This man is very much interested in being the knowledge in the room and being the one who knows all the things. He's got this PhD, so he's used to being smart and all that. He knows nothing about my academic background. He knows nothing about my scientific studies. He don't even know that I'm a scientist. And I haven't felt the need to explain any of that. I don't feel the need to let him know that I specialize in neuroscience and brain research and trauma. I don't need to share any of that because I see how you act when you think that I don't have those qualifications, and that's all I need to know. Right. So, is this person making you feel like there's a constant competition? Right. Belittling and making jokes at your expense. I still don't know what his joke is, and I'm not even trying to understand what it is. But also, whatever the joke was led you to use your words to mischaracterize me. Absolutely not. No way, no how. Love bombing disguised as intensity, and this is something I can say I very much experienced with Latin men is they in 2 weeks they're in love. If it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it's the same day as we witness, right? So not falling for that. If I'm somebody who is looking for love or needing love, it can become intoxicating to have somebody saying, oh my gosh, I can see us together. This is a connection. And they can't connect with you. They don't even know you. They don't even know you. The inability to take accountability. So, again, one of the reasons that I have conversations about things that are important is because I want to see what happens when there is a miscommunication. I want to see what happens when one of us has to accept that we misinterpreted what somebody else said. How does this person take accountability? And being with someone who has an inability to take accountability is never going to be safe. It's never going to be safe. And then the quiet discomfort in your spirit. At the root of all of this is understanding what peace feels like in your spirit, understanding what it feels like for you to feel true love. Love was very much distorted for me. And I remember in one of the churches I was in, they talked about how at a bank, when they are studying counterfeit money and being able to tell whether money is real or not, they don't study the counterfeits, they study the original. They go to the original. So if you know the original, like the back of your hand, then you can see when something is off with the counterfeit. And many of us have had an experience with this concept of love that has not come from the source, which is God. And we won't really understand love until we have a deep personal relationship with God. So if I can't understand love and I'm interpreting love through lenses that flawed people have shaped for me, then I'm going to think that some things are love that are not. So, to build that understanding is to develop this relationship with God so God can show you what love and peace and security and stability feel like. So, when you encounter somebody who doesn't bring that energy, you automatically know that it's off because you understand what the source looks like. My ex's parents were pastors. I remember sharing with them after he had put his hands on me. And they were basically like, oh, well, oh, well, what? Come to find out, they were also abusive. They were abusive to each other. They were abusive to their children. They were abusive to church members. They were abusive people, yet they were pastors, right? So I can't look at them as a source of love and God's love and what that looks like and sounds like. I got to go straight to God because people distort things. So that is what I wanted to share today. And I am more than happy to color in additional lines if you have questions or wonderings about anything that I shared or how I handle things or whatever. Just let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you would like. I also want to be intentional in sharing resources for anyone who may be in a situation when I was reading those red flags that you're saying to yourself, I might be in one of these situations. So, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is a 24/7 confidential service that supports victims and survivors of domestic violence. The hotline can be reached at 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-SAFE 7233. That is the hotline. And if you go to www.thehotline.org, you are able to get resources about um, how to plan to escape, how to get support, how to support others who are in a situation where there is domestic violence. I also want to reiterate that domestic violence is not just partner violence. It is not just men to women. It can also be women to men. It could be women to other women. It could be men to men. It could be parents to children. It all children to parents. All of that is domestic violence. So if any of those types of situations are going on, please do use the resources. Again, www.thehotline.org, and the phone number is 1-800-799-SAFE 7233. 1-800-799-7233. Okay. Next week, we are going to continue talking about Tampa Childless tea that done happened. And I need to fill in the lines in between what happened after this relationship that I got out of in between the time that I left Tampa, because that 2019 to 2020 year, baby, that was wild. So I'm gonna talk to Bianca later on today, and she'll be filling me in. So she'll be filling me in on the Tampa tea that has been happening, and then I'll be able to give y'all more context around Tampa and why I ultimately left Tampa and what things I was seeing back then that made me be like, let me get the hell up out of here. All right. So that will be next week. A reminder that our soul work is, what characteristics do you need to see to feel safe in community and sisterhood and partnership and relationship? All right. Continue asking yourself that. Please do share in the comments. Whoo, child. All right. Let me find my quote for today. Oh, one more. I have an additional announcement that I meant to say at the top of the episode today. I have brought back Finding Peace Abroad for a limited time only. So I'm trying to help as many people as I can to get out while people are able to get out. So the next session of Finding Peace Abroad is on Sunday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. And you can register for Finding Peace Abroad at tinyurl.com/FPA 10/2025. Okay, and it is a free session, but you do have to register in order to be able to attend. Also, again, want to remind you to join the archive, which is the Patreon. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the inner circle is still within the archive. So that is the collection where you're able to find out everything about me as the founder and continue to follow my journey there. So that is my personal channel, the inner circle within the archive. But the Patreon has been rebranded as the archive. All right, so come on in there and hang out with us in the Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/minding my black ass business, it is $5 a month. You have access to everything that is inside and all of the content and resources that will be available, as well as discounts, chats, and community. So today's closing quote comes from Ntozake Shange. This is a line from For Colored Girls, but the quote says, I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely. I want to remind us that God is within us. Our spirit is there. We just have to reconnect. We have to reconnect to our peace and the goodness that lives inside of us without needing anyone's permission. So I invite you to start that journey, whether that be through finding out more about discovering your destiny or just taking some time to be able to journal and meditate and just really understand who God has created you to be. So thank y'all for hanging out with me. I will see you all next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to The Frolicking Truth, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. Please be sure to like, rate, and comment. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Minding My Black Ass Business, and follow me on all social platforms. Until next time, bye.